Okay, next part of maths we're looking at, still with statistics and probability, 8.4 stem and leaf plots. And can you see that? Look at that drawing of mine. A stem of a plant and the leaves. The stem, the main sort of trunk, the leaves coming off that. And that's what we're looking at in this one. It's just another way to show numbers and information. So instead of having things like a list of 53, 64, 65, I would create this sort of table layout. My stem would be on this side, my leaf on the other. The main part of the number, 53, the 50 is the main part, the strongest part, so that goes on the stem side, the leaf, the 3 goes on the other. If I have another number, I also do that. The stem, the 60, the main part goes in there, and the leaf goes on the other side. If I had another number in the 60s, I keep that stem and just add one more leaf, the 5. And if I've got another 65, well, I keep the stem and add another 5 on there. So I'm building up the scores on this side. Now that's a quick go at it. From your textbook, it's all about page 411, stem and leaf plots. You can see in their little example 53, they've set it out the same as I did, 5 and 3, 78, 7 in the stem, 8 in the leaf, 125, 120 is the main part of the number, so that goes in the stem, the 1 and 2, and the 5 goes onto that end part there. Advantages of doing these sort of stem and leaf plots is so that you do not have a big long list of numbers. Right, if you have this list of 122, 123, 24, 124, 127, 129, you can put that into an easier table situation. Okay, the convention, the idea of setting out means the leaves are shown in increasing order. So a bit like I've done in other times, I've set them out lowest to highest. I don't just put them in anywhere, I make sure I order them lowest to highest. The little activity, let's start testing the scores. In the first part, test 1, they give you a big long list of scores, all jumbled up, a bit hard to find out who's got what. Test 2, they are using the stem and leaf plot. So you've got different scores, but test 1 has just a bunch of numbers, test 2 has the stem and leaf plot. If you have a look at the stem and leaf, you can see there is a 1 and an 8, that's an 18, 1, 10 and the 8, smaller part. You've got a 27, a 2 in the stem and a 7. You've also got a 28, a 2 in the stem and an 8 in the leaf. So you get 2 numbers there, 27, 28. Then you get a big long list of scores in the 30s, a 32, another 32, a 34, 35, another 35, 37, 39. And then the 40s have even more. And the 50s, well, they've got 2 scores in there, but they're exactly the same. A 50, a 50, and another 50. So there's some questions in that one for the tests. Try to find out how many students achieved a perfect score of 50. How many failed the test, got less than 25. How many achieved a mark in the 40s. Okay? And then a question there, what is it that makes a stem and leaf plot easier to work with? Well, basically the layout. You can get to see things in an orderly fashion. Now moving down to the key ideas. In the blue section down there, a stem and leaf plot is a way to display numerical data, so numbers are used in this. Each number is usually split into a stem, the first digit or digits, so usually your tens, your larger parts of your number, and a leaf, the last digit. We've seen some of those examples there. Leaves should be aligned vertically, so that you create an order for those as well, and then ascending order as you go out. So if you've got 15 and 17 and 12 and 13, you organise those, put them in an order. Any outliers can be identified by looking at the lowest or highest value. So you look right at the top or right at the bottom of your stem and leaf area to see which ones are a bit odd and outside of that usual information. Now quickly having a look at example 6 is interpreting that data, that information. Alright, so what they've done in example 6, they have a stem and leaf plot, write out the temperatures in the list, How many countries' temperatures are represented? These are the questions I'm going through. What are the maximum and minimum temperatures? So you look towards the top and the bottom. What is the range of the temperatures? So you can do those yourself. What is the median temperature recorded? Now I'm putting up the solutions and explanations here. Your first job was to write a list. So there you have the big long list of all of those. Each number is converted from the stem and leaf to a single number. So for example, the 1 and the 3 and the stem and leaf, convert it to 13. Part B, easiest way to count the number of leaves. Each leaf corresponds to one country. So if I look at all the parts in the leaf section, that is one score or one country. They must have used a country piece of information. Part C, minimum and maximum temperatures. Well, I'll look to the top of the leaf and the smallest one closest here, is your 13. And then you can look to the maximum, the other end of the stem and leaf plot down the bottom, and the furthest leaf out, 32. The range, we've done that before, minimum and maximum, take away the minimum, and the mode, so median. Which one is in the middle? There were, how many scores did you have? You can cross them out forward and back. You'll end up with 2 in the middle. When you find there's 2 in the middle, add them and divide them by 2. Next example, example 7. Put that onto a stem and leaf plot, so those lists you get there, create the stem and leaf plot. You can have a look at the explanation and solution to see how yours went with that. I would suggest having a go at example 7 so you know how things work. Have fun with that.